Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today I want to talk about what I think is the most underrated episode in each season of The Walking Dead. So I'll be going from season 1 all the way to season 11. So let's jump right into this with season 1 episode 2, Guts. This is what I think is the most underrated episode in season 1, and that's because every other episode in season 1 is absolutely phenomenal. And when people talk about season 1 episodes, they either mention episode 6 or episode 1, and season 1 episode 2 is just kind of put in the middle. And no one really talks about it because it is a great episode. We get some great interactions with Merle and Rick. We get the Walker trick. This episode is about our characters being stuck in Atlanta and them trying to escape. It's an absolutely amazing episode and is underlooked when people talk about season 1. And season 2 has to be Chupacabra episode 5. And this episode is the first Daryl focused episode we got. And this episode gave us a little returning cameo from Merle, which was great. I really enjoyed this episode because it proves that Norman Reedus can carry an episode as Daryl and can eventually carry the show. This is definitely one of the better episodes in the middle part of season 2, because a lot of people, when you talk about season 2, they kind of forget that the middle part of season 2, outside of some bright spots, was pretty lackluster. There's whole episodes about doing nothing. So episode 5, Chupacabra, is absolutely amazing and deserves a rewatch and deserves more talk than it gets. Season 3 is episode 13, Arrow on the Doorpost, and this episode is great. And it's solely because this is the first episode where Rick and the governor actually meet. It's mad that the protagonist and the antagonist, take this long to meet up. They meet up in episode 13 for the first time. And it's a great, slow-paced episode, but it really works because you have two amazing actors performing next to each other. Andrea was great in this episode. I really like how Andrea acts as the mediator, trying to get everything back on track, trying to stop a war. This episode is a slow one, but I really enjoy a lot of the character moments in this episode. And there's little things like you have Milton and Herschel talking about how he survived the bite. It's a great episode in a great season. And definitely the back half of this season where it starts to fizzle out. This is one of the greatest episodes in the back half of the season of season 3. And season 4, I'm going to have to give this to still episode 12. And originally this episode was easily one of the worst episodes in season 4. However, it is aged like wine. It is a really great character-focused episode for Daryl and Beth, and the pairing is a really shocking one, but it really does work. As time has gone on, this episode has just gotten better and better, and to the point it is highly underrated. People need to go back and watch this episode. Even though it is a bottle episode, it is a well-done bottle episode compared to some of the newer bottle episodes we have got in the Walking Dead franchise. Season 5 is episode 10 for me, Them. This episode is the episode where our characters are on the road the most. I really enjoy this episode solely because this episode is about the survival aspect. That is the biggest focus of this episode, them traveling north and struggling to survive, and having a lot of characters dealing with grief after having so many heavy losses like Tyrese and Beth in previous episodes. This is just such an underrated episode. I don't feel like it is talked about enough, and it might be because how it comes straight off really two very controversial episodes, and they go straight into the Alexandria storyline. So this episode is kind of forgotten about a lot, I feel. So season 5's pick is Them. Now, season 6 is episode 4, Here's Not Here. And this is easily one of the best episodes in The Walking Dead, and one of the best spotted episodes we've got in general. However, it is solely underrated, solely because it is poorly placed in the season. It's episode 4. Why place such a phenomenal episode right in the middle of an entire arc, which has no connection to? It is a bottle episode at the worst placement. If this was episode 10, episode 9, or have it as episode 1, it would be great and just reshape it slightly. But episode 4, coming out right after the whole attack at Alexandria, the plan going wrong, Glenn's fake out death. What was AMC thinking with this placement? Because a lot of people overhate this episode, but it is easily one of the best episodes in season 6. So I have to mention Here's Not Here for season 6. Now, season 7 is episode 5, Go Getters. And this is a really interesting episode. I really enjoyed this episode. However, a lot of people just don't talk about season 7 in general just because it is so depressing. And I agree, this episode is depressing as well. But I really think this episode does work, and it definitely does need a rewatch, because you'll be surprised how much you like this episode on a second viewing. So definitely season 7 is going to be episode 5, Go Getters. Now season 8 is episode 13, Don't Send Us Astray. This episode is just under talked about. It's definitely one of the most underrated episodes in general. This episode deals with the Battle of the Hilltop, then it deals with the aftermath with everyone turning. It's a very horror-centric episode at the end where, because the Saviors weren't there to win the war, they were there just to get people infected. We lose some smaller characters. This episode is absolutely phenomenal. How people just don't talk about it because it's in season 8, it's after Carl's death, and a lot of people were checked out at this point in the Savior War, but definitely in those last few episodes of season 8, the show gets really, really good, and this is definitely the peak of that last few episodes stretched, in my opinion. And season 9 is episode 2, The Bridge, and this episode is just not talked about enough in my opinion. It's a really great episode. I definitely think this episode is a stronger episode than episode 1. However, everyone absolutely loves episode 1 because it's a fresh take on The Walking Dead, and the entire first 5 episodes with Rick Grimes are absolutely phenomenal. But I think out of those first 5 episodes and the entire season as a whole, even though the entire season is one of my favorite seasons, this episode is just under talked about. It is great. We get to see Rick being more of that guy trying to keep everything together. We're seeing some cracks here and there, but Rick is that guy keeping everyone connected. It's a really phenomenal episode. And this is also the final episode where Rick and Negan ever have a scene together, so this is quite a big episode. And it's really weird that Rick and Negan, their final episode, and the only time they actually ever have a conversation in season 9 is in episode 2, The Bridge. And moving on, season 10, one more episode, 19. And it is shocking how great this episode is, even though it is a COVID episode. And the whole reason why I'm putting it here as the most underrated episode of season 10 is because season 10 has some really low lows, but it has some really high highs like Squeeze, episode 9, and episode 22, Here's Negan. And that's definitely why this episode is so underrated, in my opinion, is because it's 3 episodes before Here's Negan. So a lot of people think COVID episodes, Here's Negan, or season 10, Here's Negan, or The Whisperers. They don't think about this random little bottle episode called One More, which is a great character study for Gabriel, showing how the war took a heavy toll on him, and now he has lost his faith, and he is lost in this world. It is a great episode for Aaron and Gabriel, and for season 10 in general. Now, season 11 is episode 6, On the Inside. This is definitely one of the scariest episodes in The Walking Dead. I really enjoyed the ferals, and I really enjoyed the Connie Virgil dynamic. You have 2 characters which just cannot communicate, which makes it even more scary. This episode is absolutely phenomenal, and it's just not talked about enough because it is in the Reaper arc. When people think of the Reaper arc, they think the entire thing is terrible, which is a massive shame because you have episodes like episode 6, which are actually pretty good. And overall, season 11 does have a lot of either very overrated episodes or a lot of mediocre episodes, but this is a quiet, really good episode that definitely deserves a rewatch. And that is it for me today, so please tell me down below, what do you think is the most underrated episode in each season of The Walking Dead? Do you agree with my list or do you disagree? I'd like to know all your thoughts down in the comments. But this is it for me today, so thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.